Good afternoon, everyone. British punctuality. It's not British punctuality, it's Brazilian punctuality, because we have lots of Brazilian and other nationalities representatives here. You see that the format here is it's a round table. We're talking about the 5th International Congress of Science, Ethics, and Integrated Education Congress, International Association of Science, Ethics, and Integrated Education. It's to seen and not seen, that everyone working together and passing love, energy, donation, light for everyone. We can't think clearly that alone we won't arrive nowhere, but here we will start this celebration with 10 years of our association. We've initiated in Natal, Rio Grande do Norte, in the northeastern region of Brazil, with the vice president in São Paulo, and initial word is gratitude. Gratitude to God for us to be here, for all of you listening to us. Gratitude to God because we are here. Gratitude for the wisdom He gives us and the force and the strength to be able to build, to renew, to transform lives. And I would like to thank God, family, the basis of everything, and my definition of life, purpose, mission that I have since I was 7 years old, because I am a descendant of a Jewish Christian family. The association is based on principles, on Jewish and Christian principles, because my family is Dutch and Portuguese, and these are my values. These are the values I pass to my family, to my descendants. We have here Mauro by my side. He's from the beginning with our association. He's the vice president of the Brazilian chapter. And in the United States, we have our vice president, Dr. Judith Christed, because of force majeure, problems with her health, but nothing severe. But the general secretary is also a lawyer. They are both attorney from the Liberty University in the United States. So it's a pleasure to have you here. We have a special thanks to Febracis, that is our support here. We have our representative, our CEO, our director, Lilian Carmo. She's a master coach. She's a professor, a very pleasant representative here, representing Febracis from Campinas. So I would like to mention Paulo Vieira and Camila Vieira, and we are at São Paulo. We have Nebraska and Sydney Aquino from Febracis, so thank you all. And we have our flags, Brazilian and American flags here. So the word is gratitude, the first one, and the second one is order and honor. So gratitude and honor. With these two words, I'd like to welcome you all that are trusting these 10 years of evolution of our work. And also would like to say that I'm grateful to our first vice president of the first Congress, that is from São Paulo, a neuroscientist, a neurosurgeon, Dr. Raul Marino Jr. I think he's listening to us with his wife, Angela Zaccarelli. They've been essential in the construction of the first Congress in Natal, the northeastern region of Brazil. So you'll see in our website testimonials from people. So for Dr. Laura Mosley, she's from Modena in Italy. And also we have here by our side our attorney consultant from the very beginning, Mr. Silvio Dalla Valle, that is our speaker, official speaker, and we also knew him in the third International Congress held in the United States. The second one was in Sao Paulo, and the third one, 6 months later, was in the United States in July 2013 at the Leadership International Institute in Arlington, Virginia. That's where we met, and he and Dr. Judith, they liked, and they asked to open a branch in the United States. So from 2016, we have the Malcolm branch, the branch of IASEIE. So this route of our, that's the pathway we've been walking through. So we have Fabrices with Florida Christian University, with Dr. Bruno Portigliari, Dr. Anthony Portigliari. Since the beginning, when we arrived at Orlando in 2017, they've been following up us. They are our partners, our speakers. And the other force we have is from the mastermind. Our Alexandre Janer, our mastermind master, because we are mastermind as well. That's it. Mauro and I, from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So he will speak in the proper moment. He will bring us his mastermind strength. And before him, we have Lillian, because she needs to leave earlier. And that's it. Our initial words, grateful and welcoming words. There are words of donation, of love, of allegiance, building. Because as we have in Fabrices, we need to start with a small vision of the future. And we have another speakers. They will be arriving soon. Our neuro psychopedagogue Beatriz Teixeira. Well, she's already here, and right now she's at Manaus in the northern region of Brazil. We have Dr. Rosalba Luiz, our speaker from Orlando, and we have others. They haven't arrived yet. So we ask that God bless us greatly. And we have Dr. Josie Oliveira from Orlando, in the United States. She's a psychologist, a master coach. Can you see me? Oh, Dr. Rejane Guerrero from New York. We have Italy from Milan, New York, Fortaleza, Campinas, São Paulo, Orlando, Manaus. And that's it. Please be very welcome. I'm presenting you in my 10 minutes presentation that I've spent 8. So 10 minutes of presentation and introduction. So you can access in our website. You can have all the details. We can hear you. I can't, for now, we can't talk. Please do not talk yet. Please mute your microphone. That's Dr. Josie. She's a psychologist. She's a coach, one of our speakers. She's a writer as well. She works a lot with emotional balance, toxic emotions, and each one of you here has a specialty. That's why I love to work in collaboration. We have Ana Lazaro. We lack of Ana Lazaro. Dr. Ana Lazaro from Orlando, an attorney. So from the last year, we did the third symposia to prepare for this Congress with Dr. Ana Paula Lázaro. Well, she did the first presentation, and then afterwards she started to organize the foundation, because she works with Hub and Justice Foundation. So transforming those serious problems we don't want to deal with, but we need to know about. Be very welcome. So I spent my 10 minutes. I like very much to be punctual. I pass the floor to the organizing group with the first video to represent the vice presidents and the secretariat of speakers and organizers from the United States. Can you hear me?
Greetings from Lynchburg, Virginia. This is Mary McAllister, and I work with Dr. Judith Reisman here in Virginia on child protection issues in the United States. Welcome to the 10th anniversary of the International Association.
Seja bem-vindo ao 10º aniversário da Associação Internacional, que faz trabalho muito importante. Tem crescido muito. Essa organização ajuda pessoas que estão trabalhando com educação e educação de outros profissionais para aumentar e melhorar a qualidade de vida, o que é uma tarefa muito importante que temos, porque é importante respeitar a ética e a educação infantil na criança. Isto quer dizer proteger as crianças de ter problemas emocionais, distúrbios emocionais. E hoje em dia temos muito o que fazer em relação a isso, porque há muitas coisas acontecendo e precisamos trabalhar juntos para instaurar, incutir respeito, ética, valores morais nas pessoas, de modo que eles possam, essas crianças possam ser vibrantes, possam ser cidadãos produtivos no nosso mundo e nos nossos países. Nós lutamos pelos direitos das crianças e dos seus pais, de ter atitudes saudáveis, ou seja, protegê-las emocionalmente, espiritualmente, fisicamente, e que elas tenham saúde e para desenvolver os princípios e valores que elas precisam para ter uma vida saudável. Então, eu parabenizo a associação pelos seus 10 anos e espero que esse congresso seja valioso, que seja de grande ajuda e que traga ótimos frutos nesse trabalho de proteção às crianças. Muito obrigado e que tenhamos uma conferência e uma noite abençoada. So the doctor, she's a professor of law professor. Well, I'm Anthony Portigliatti. I'm talking from Orlando, Florida, in the United States. I'm the president of the Educational Council of the Florida Christian University, and it's very good to be here in this Congress of Ethics Education for Children, and that I take advantage of this opportunity to say thanks for this great work in this 10 years, and now in this International Congress from Orlando, an international city. As a university, as a group, we feel very happy to participate in an event that has of its characteristics the most important values for a healthy society. That's why I come here on behalf of the Florida Christian University to say that we're very happy to be part of this Congress, and for all the IASEIE team, I say thanks for this important mission. I would like you to make the difference in our society, and may God bless you all. May we have a nice Congress on this 28th of October. And let's look forward to have the best dreams and to have a wonderful world, and may God bless you all. We'll have our speaker, Lilian Carmel, Master Coach, Fabrices Campinas, São Paulo Director. Okay, folks, it's a pleasure and an honor to meet you all. To me, this invitation has been a privilege. Thank you all. And let me try to contribute in my next few minutes. May I share my screen? I would like to ask you. So let me share this screen with some content. When Graça asked me to come, I had the opportunity. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it? Okay. If you can see, so okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's just okay. So when I had the opportunity to meet Graça, she asked me for content to contribute with the audience. And when we discussed about the possibilities, about themes to bring in at the table, we decided to bring the antidote to overcome any kind of crisis. Brazil and the whole world has been they have been impacted by this pandemic crisis. We cannot underestimate it in all the aspects, healthcare, economics, economy and financial aspects, and most of all, in an emotional way, this crisis has impacted all the people involved directly or indirectly by this pandemic. And what I can tell you for all the audience is that we have a way. We have ways to overcome the crisis. We have ways to be shielded against any kind of crisis. Why? Because on behalf of a crisis, you'll be impacted by fear. So we have triggers, emotional triggers that will arise and activate the fear. But you are in the control of your life, and you can, and you may use these actions and these reactions to your benefit. But how can I control fear? I don't have control upon the external trigger. I don't know how to deal with it. Well, when you face fear, it's important to observe. The first thing is to learn how to manage fear. Well, we have the actual fear. For example, this crisis is real, but we have also an imaginary fear. Many times we make our monsters bigger than they really are. So fear, this emotion, it may get crisis even bigger. And how can I grow over this? Well, we that have the same principles, the same values, we believe that love gets all the fears away, right? But love and also a positive vision of the future, to believe that I can do more, to believe that we have an actual possibility to hinder and to understand that the circumstances do not define myself, but my actions can get my life towards a better future. So the first way I can share with you to overcome fear, to not let fear to paralyze you, is to learn how to manage it, using a positive vision of the future as a tool, a powerful tool to act in the present regardless the circumstances. But obviously it's not all about it. Well, we need Yes, to face crisis as an opportunity. Every crisis is an opportunity. Every obstacle comes to bring us something to learn. I don't know how your life is happening, but please look at yourself in a very generous and kind way. Look at the circumstances around you and try to find some opportunities in the middle of the chaos to use for your own benefit. But it's not only to divide, it's not only to see, to have a positive vision of the future, to look to the problem as an opportunity, so it won't take you out of this crisis, it won't eliminate the circumstances. You must take decisions, so your actions and your decisions will boost you to this positive future. So search for self-knowledge, search for personal growth, search for development in order to understand where you are, where you wanna be, and with the right emotions, with the proper cognition, to use these emotions as a booster for your development, for your achievements. Well, when I talk like that, it seems to be easy, but I know it isn't, but it is possible. So if people tell you that it will be easy, people are lying, but if they tell it's impossible, they're lying either. So for every company to overcome crisis, it's important to be able to manage, to lead their people. Well, alone you can go faster, but together you can go further. So may you have tools to understand exactly what boosts people, high performance people, what takes people to act willingly, to be supportive to you and to your business, and to you be able to be boosted for better and higher results. So it's not worth it to talk about high performance, leadership, self-knowledge, decisions, to look at the crisis as a great opportunity, to talk about to manage paralyzing emotions. If we don't talk, happiness makes part of this process. Without telling that happiness is the journey. It's possible in middle of chaos, middle of the crisis, to search for opportunities, to dedicate towards them, to act together with a high performance team, and to be able to enjoy. Okay, so my invitation to you is that you may enjoy the journey till you arrive, achieve, and live your destination. Develop the abilities and skills that will take you to the next tier, abilities that will of emotional intelligence. So if I had to summarize all the keys to take you to overcome any kind of crisis, I would say in this moment that is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a soft skill according to the World Forum, and the most famous World Forum in this moment. So I dare to invite you to know better about emotional intelligence and all the benefits you can have when you look inside to understanding all your emotions and using them for your benefits, and try to understand better the others and to extract the better from the others to achieve the best performance. So the purpose of this event is to contribute in a very quick and collaborative way, because I'm here together with great masters that will bring other themes to contribute with you this evening. But for those who want to go further, I'm presenting you here my book, a book that talks, deeply the aspects of neuroscience, and that gives us evidence to keep walking, even with paralyzing fear, how to overcome fear. It's a gift from me to you. I've commented with Graça. Oh, Graça, I don't know if I'll be able to talk from 7 to 10 minutes, but I will try to summarize the 7 steps, but will give opportunity for those people who want to, through the scanning the QR code in your screen, to scanning it, to have access to a book that I've had the opportunity to write in the middle of chaos in May 2020 as a coach, listening from my students, paralyzed by their fears. So we've brought here the best from Fabrices and tools, and to boost people, to make people look inside and make the emotional intelligence to boost their lives, their careers. That's my gift to you. For those who want to scan the QR code and have an access 100% free, my digital, the digital version of my book. It's my way to contribute. And for those who wants to know me better, you have my social media and social network addresses. I know Graça is very punctual, and I tried hard. I did my best to be as brief as possible to not impact and overall time. So that's my invitation, my contribution. I would like you to read this content, to know better, deeply, and understand how to not get paralyzed by fear. So in this year, I decided to make 2020 the best year in my life. And this decision makes us to search for all the tools to get aware of all our emotions, to be able to overcome any challenge we face. So I invite you to decide to improve your life. So feel my love, feel my gratitude. That's it. I now pass the floor to Graça. May God bless you. So thank you, my friends, for this opportunity, and I will be here listening to you. Okay? Big kiss to you all. Now, Professor Alexandre Janner, our mastermind master. The floor is yours, Mr. Janner. Thank you, Mastermind, Graça Araújo and Mauro Araújo. Mastermind, greetings. And this evening we'll talk about this very important, the Golden Rule. So, with the theme that has been chosen by Dr. Graça. Well, because in this 5 years and 10 years of history celebration, we've been talking about to do the greater good with the Golden Rule. Let me share my screen with this 8 minutes, 10 minutes, okay? Everything, I've earned 2 minutes more, wow. I'm very happy, because in 2 minutes, it's, a lot of time. And we'll focus on Napoleon Hill and the Golden Rule as the master key of any achievement. I'm the responsible of Mastermind to Florida and Rio de Janeiro at Napoleon Hill Foundation. And to talk about Napoleon Hill, it's a great honor to me because of his great legacy. And talking about harmony, minds, all the allegiance been generated with Dr. Graça and Mauro from 2018, where lots of participants from Mastermind, they were together with this very defined goal to do the greater good and to be committed with ethics and participative education. And that's what my presentation is about. So Brazil nowadays, we've had a tsunami of this jargon called Mastermind. and we've been working with it in decades. So we're hearing, oh, that's my contact to participate in my mastermind, and that's not like that. I realized that to mastermind to happen, to put the minds in harmony, the golden rule is fundamental. When a human being or a leader and a businessman, when they neglect what golden rule is capable of doing, obviously this group lifespan will be very short and with a very low effectiveness and efficiency. We need to understand what's behind of the 16th law from Napoleon Hill legacy. That's the golden rule. Napoleon Hill is one of the greatest influencers in the world's history. Our book is in the 76th week. We have a book called Who Thinks Get Rich. I won't talk about these two books, but I will talk about this golden rule that is fundamental for us to be able to create the mind allegiances. Napoleon Hill has been challenged from 1908 to 1928 to research the human mind, to understand why there are people above mediocrity. And he studied more than 16,000 people, the 500 fortunes in America, like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and he found in these people that the golden rule was crucial for each mastermind success. And the golden rule only been developed after the research. So he identified 15 characteristics amongst the 16,000 people, and the research had continued. And the golden rule was very clear in these people's lives, because when you were not aligned with your talk, with your walk, you are destined to the failure. So when the masks start to get off the faces, so people reveal who they are. So, and to be aligned with all the values, you need to have the golden rule, so the 16th rule. And then sometime afterwards, Napoleon Hill discovered the force of the habit. So raising another group of researchers about habits and customs. I'll talk about the 16th law, the golden rule. So it's important to highlight that you watching here, everyone has this very defined goal, and we have to trust ourselves a lot to be very confident of us. And I would like to talk about the ethics code from Napoleon Hill in order to put the golden rule in practice. And the first thing, so what does golden rule mean? So I believe the golden rule is the basis of any human behavior. So I won't do to other people what I would not like to these people to do to me. We have Confucius that talked about it, and Napoleon Hill saw it very clearly, as Dr. Grassa said, from these Jewish and Christian principles. So love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you can understand what is the golden rule. If the world could understand that, we would not have wars and not like to take advantage on the others' misery. We would not have people talking badly about neighbors if they all were aligned with the golden rule. So the second principle of ethics, I would be honest and minimum details. Each detail is important. So I won't be honest because I'm afraid of law enforcement. I will be honest because this is a virtue, it's a principle, it's a characteristic. that I want to feed my subconscious with, to be honest in the minimum details. So the third thing is I will forgive those who are unfair with me, not thinking if they deserve or not. When I understand the power of forgiveness, my company can advance, I can behave better to my family. So instead of thinking about what people will gain or not, if I forgive or not forgive, so only if we can get free of all the links of this chain, we can put the golden rule in practice. So I will forgive those who behave unfair with me, not thinking if they deserve or not. Fourth, I will be always fair, generous, and loyal to the other. So we are performing here generosity action. We allocate a night to have people watching what we're talking on, how to make people aware of all these informations freely. So being generous, loyal, and fair. Fifth, so the fifth one is fantastic. So any time that I can dedicate to expose the flaws and weaknesses of the others, I will dedicate to my own weaknesses and flaws. So people spend a lot of time talking badly about other people, pointing the fingers to other people. So instead to feed this, it's more important to look inside and to look to my own issues. So all these time you spent, it's better to focus on your self improvement, continuous improvement. Sixth, I won't talk badly about anyone. It doesn't matter how much I believe these people deserve, because I don't want to plant the seeds, destructive seeds, in my subconscious. So when you talk badly about your competitor, you're feeding your subconscious with toxic words. It may be true, but your subconscious will be fed in a non-intelligent way. So, and that's when the emotional intelligence enters. So as much you dedicate to your own business, to your own gifts and talents, in order to people who to receive to you, that's the golden rule. So seventh, I acknowledge the power of thinking, power of thoughts, as an access to my brain, as an universal ocean of life. I won't throw away destructive thoughts, not to pollute other people's minds. So we do not have the right to pollute other people's minds with our gestures and our thoughts. We need to take a decision to be better. As Lillian talked to us, she said, I decided that 2020 will be the best year of my life. Life is made of decisions. Eighth, I will dominate the human trend to hatred, envy, selfishness, jealousy, and to be the pessimism, so the doubt and the fear. That's the seed where the world reap all the evil. So when all these things are fed, I'm almost finishing. Okay, time flies, and well, I didn't arrive to 1%. So ninth. So I will keep my mind full of thoughts, of courage, thoughts, goodwill, the will to do the good to the others. That's mastermind. When I arrive to a mastermind group, I must change my mindset. It's not what I can get. It's not what's in it for me. It's what I can provide. So that's loyal and a love for justice. That's are the seeds where the world will reap the continuous growth, and in this way we'll have a much better world. And last but not least, so continuous happiness. We can find continuous happiness when we help people to find it. If so, no act of goodness, no act of goodwill, an act of goodness keeps without the proper good return. So opportunity comes from lading. So ops, it's about harbor. So opportunity talks about favorable winds that took the boats from the Middle East to Europe. So this meeting today, it's a favorable wind that will get you to a safe harbor. So that's the golden rule. So thank you to be here talking about the golden rule from Napoleon Hill in a very summarized way to make this event more impacting to other people. So Mastermind, Dr. Graça and Mauro, my great thanks to you. Thank you very much. Now I have a video from Dr. Rosana Alves, a neuroscientist, neuropsychologist. She's a director of a Neurogenesis Institute, not in Orlando, but in Florida, the state of Florida. She's one of our speakers from 2019, but in this moment she's giving a lecture, so she recorded a video about her theme, okay? Hello, I'm very happy to participate in this 5th edition of the International Congress of Science, Education, Ethics and Integrated Education. I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to share with you about overcoming. We know that challenges are inherent to life, changes are inherent to life, but capacity to adapt is a vital necessity. And that's how are you adapting? Do you know what to adapt is? How to accommodate to a new situation? Well, to adapt is to have the ability to adjust or to be flexible in front of a certain situation. That's what adapt is. I like a lot about this thought about adaptation. So to adapt is to perish now and always. So to adapt is an inexorable imperative from nature. So, and well, we defined adaptation, and now overcoming, what overcome is. So you do not overcome when you are badly adapted. So overcoming is to achieve success in adaptation, and that's what we want. So to be to be successful and to achieve overcoming, is important to react and to behave in an adequate way during the challenges. So, and when we study about literature about fundamental behaviors to overcoming, me and my orientator, Dr. De Lima, we summarized which behaviors in the, well, as a top 10 behavior list. We'd like to present this top 10 behavior list. Which are these main behaviors for adapting? So the first one, acceptance of reality. You must accept what you are living. Second one, so not to play the victim anymore. So third one, to search for the self-knowledge. Fourth, ask for help. Ask for help. It's essential for adaptation. We know that we need each other. Fifth, to assume the authorship of your all history. So walk the talk. So sixth, not to be conformed with. Okay, so you need to overcome. Seventh, to act despite fear. Eighth, to take care of your own. So if you're not okay, you won't arrive any place. So ninth, to be grateful, and 10th, to develop spiritual intelligence. So some authors talk about how important it is to develop emotional intelligence to achieve overcoming. It's important to highlight that these behaviors itself, they can broaden the capacity of overcoming, and they can be learned from a choice and from a personal effort. If you do not choose, you can be as you are, but you can learn and change completely to achieve overcoming. So I wish you much more than adaptation on behalf of changings, in front of changes life imposes. I wish you overcoming. So after our event, after you watch this symposium, so please look at this list and try to be aware of what you can do from this list and what you can improve or you need to improve on this list to adequate. Well, some people, they have difficult, it's difficult for them to ask for help, but you know, we need to be aware that, to be conscious that people are much more willingly than we think to help us. So be the protagonists of your history, do the changes, the necessary changes, take care of yourself, and then if you're not okay, if you are in a bad mood or bad health, you can't go further, so you need to adjust your relationships. So each one of us, we are in a certain point of our way, of our pathway, needing to overcome something. I don't know what you need to overcome, but I can tell you that it's possible to overcome the most part of the obstacles or to adapt to the situations we are in this moment, being chosen by us or imposed by life situation. Then I'm here asking you to give your brain the capacity to show you all the routes, the pathways to achieve your goals. And you must insist on what you need to change, you need to overcome. But I know you're capable and you have the skills to use everything around you available to achieve your goals. So look at yourself and in a very happiness fashion, and you'll tell it's worth it not to conform the way I was, but to make my adaptation to a successful outcome. So I wish you all the happiness, I wish you all the overcoming, and see you next opportunity. So we thank the video of our absent speaker, Dr. Rosana Alves, our speaker from IASEIE from Florida. Now we invite our dear master coach, Rejane Guerreiro. She's a speaker. She's from New York. She will explain what she does, and that's a speaker amongst us, accepting Dr. Silvio Dalla Valle since 2013. Rejane is with us since 2017. She was in the Access Washington, D.C., New York, Bethesda, and College Park, where we did, we've been supported by the Brazilian consulate office, and our dear psychologist Fatima, always with us. So thank you for your collaboration. So Graça, thank you. Would like to thank for your invitation, for the opportunity in this 5th International Association of Science and Ethics and Integrated Education Congress. I feel flattered and privileged and immensely grateful to be here with you again in this year, innovating, going digital, using technology for our benefit. I would like to share my screen with you. Is that possible? Yes, you can share as you wish. Can you see it? Not yet. Yes, now we can see it. I would like to thank you. Well, for those who doesn't know me, I'm the Rejane Guerrero. I found the Being Neurocreative Center, so to help Brazilians to overcome all the challenges all immigrants pass through. And from 2012, we are attending servicing all the community from New York, Washington, as Graça told you. And we've been hired by the consulate, Brazilian consulate as well, to develop within the communities for the students of the program called, the Brazilian program called Sciences Without Borders. And during this program, I met Graça. And it's been I've been pleased to see all the integration of the professionals. Graça is reuniting with all the minds aligned with the purpose to serve. So Alexandre and Lilian, they talked in a very good way about it. So besides some specialties in the human development area, I'm the idealizer of GAMO. It's a group of women support. But I would like to tell you about numbers, because we must not neglect reality in order to work better with it. So here we have, according to the United Nations for Human Rights, Brazil occupies the 5th place in the world ranking of woman assassinations. In the United States, 1.3 to 5.3 million of women experiences violence at home from their intimate, so that's called in the United States intimate partner violence. We've had in 1994 the law against women, the Violence Against Women Act, with 26 years old. Nowadays, we have problems of economic support for this act. So, with this act, we've had the reduction of almost 60% in sexual abuse and violence, according to the Justice Department from the United States. So, and in 2010, we've had this research where 30% of the women were physically violented, 90% raped, 70% besides rape, sexually violated, and 48% suffered psychological aggression. And it means that the abuse or psychological aggression has a huge and profound impact upon human beings. So, and going further a little bit more, so taking a leap in our current reality. So the United Nations, or UN Women, United Nations for Women, mentions that globally, in the last 12 months, 243 million women between 15 and 49 years, they've been violented and sexually and physically by their intimate partners. That's it's an astronomical number and a very scary one. And that's a reality that sometimes we cannot or we avoid to see. Because as human beings, we've been created to be happy, to live in harmony, to have health, to live in peace. And everything that what Alexandre told us, that's exactly like that. That's our purpose, our natural destiny. But unfortunately, other external factors, they contribute to this kind of violence to happen. And more than ever, we need to work hard on this. So the fundamental point on this is that in this research performed in 2014, included in the proceedings of National Academy of Science of the United States, this research shows us that the power of the word balances all our whole body. The words we speak, they have power upon our whole physiology. That's a graph, it's a chart from the research showing how our body reacts only with words, only with simple words. So these words they make our bodies to react like that. So this association with the words that promote physical answers, they have a deep impact in our immunology and most of all in our self-esteem. That's where when we have the greatest issue that women are not safe even in their own homes. So when the pandemic happens, the abuses, they intensify astronomically in all the ways possible. So, and when women, they survive the abuse, the violence, they develop depression, they try to commit suicide, and it means that millions of women feel emotionally incapable to perform any action in their own benefit. And for us, the major part of us here, we are women. It's very impacting to know that we are life creators. We bring life to this world. We are women, that we bring life to this world. And we must know more than anyone how to manage not only these emotional issues, but how to survive in our own homes when we have a dysfunction in terms of development. Because we know that any violence has a cause, and this cause may be, in the past, and even the people that commit acts of violence, they are aware of the reasons why they're being violent. And now we have the Being Neurocreative Center from New York, that is our company, founded in 2012, working with human development. And we've been accomplishing with our social role as well, including me as a woman. We've extended our philanthropic arm, and we've created the GAMU, that is the group created to support women. And in this moment, with supporting the Brazilian women from Georgia, I've extended the Being Neurocreative to Georgia. In this very moment, I'm in the state of Georgia. So we have in New York and Georgia, servicing many countries. But here in the United States, we are in the binomial New York, Georgia. And in the last Saturday, we've launched the GAMU in a meeting about the Pink October, together with the Brazilian women from Atlanta in Georgia. So the purpose of GAMU, or GAMU, is to make women to be able to be aware and to learn with in an effective way to deal with these difficult situations to the emotional, to their own emotional benefits. So they need to know how to defend themselves from these emotional attacks. So in the personal, affective, and professional and social, in all these aspects. Why? Because personal, it's from simple bullying to effective bullying, professional. And in the social level, yes, when someone is using against the rules of the mastermind that Alexandre told us. So we developed some programs within GAMU of emotional self-leadership for women. We have lectures for groups found in psychology, neuroscience, and spirituality. Always following scientific evidence from Duke University. So this year I would, it should have happened in the Congress, but it hasn't happened, unfortunately. We focus on the rescue of this emotional autonomy and integrated strengthening, especially with mothers and adolescents. And we have adolescents becoming mothers because they are sexually assaulted. We have a contribution of other professionals of the health and physical and mental health, and we have in-person and virtual meetings, and we have the volunteer work. All of our services are free of charge, but every participant, sometimes we have men among us to understand better, and it's extremely important. Every participant, they contribute with some non-perishable good, because we've created something called food bank, because we contribute to people in need of food. So this food bank is a way to people feel that they can contribute to, and as we know, the mutual contribution, I receive, but I also donate. And we've gathered in this first meeting in the last Saturday, a huge amount of non-perishable food. So we invite all the women that are willing to participate with the GAMU program. Please contact us. It's a solidal action. Every woman are welcome. Here are our contacts. So being neurocreative, you can enter in contact with us. Can gamu contact@gmail.com. Thank you for the opportunity, and sorry about the time. Okay, wonderful, a wonderful presentation. So we thank you much more for your great contribution. Everyone in their own specialty. That's why our association is rich, as this allegiance of minds, this allegiance of institutions, of people. That's what enriches. It's priceless. And we can give our contribution, our return. Thank you very much. Now let's have Priscila Oliveira, our master coach from Orlando, our collaborator, our IASEIE speaker from the last symposium 2019. So thank you very much. It's an honor to be once more, and a bigger event from the last year. So I would like to cherish all my colleagues. I'm very honored Well, sorry for our technical issues. It always happens oftenly. But let me invite Master Coach Beatriz Teixeira, neuropsychopedagogue. Beatriz, are you there? So be very welcome. Thank you for being here, for sharing your knowledge, and also focusing, always worried, you have family, children, and our neuropsychopedagogue, master coach from Fabrices, that nowadays she's working at Manaus, state capital in the northern region of Brazil. So thank you all for the kind invitation, Dr. Graça, for accepting the referral of our common friend called Sara. Well, I'm very honored with your invitation, and in this moment I would like to share a slide with you, very quick fashion, to telling you that, who I am. So I would like to present myself, telling you that I am Beatriz Teixeira. I'm Altamar Brito's wife, mother of Mateus Teixeira with 18, Guilherme 16, and mother of this beautiful princess Ana Raquel with 11. So, and why I present myself like that? Because I believe family is the basis of society. Family is the first instance of children's life, and I could not talk about how parents can develop all the potential of the children and adolescents without talking about family. So family happens to develop the children because it's children's first instance, and the development of the children, it happens due to the experiences they have with other children. So the children's personality and children's development, they do not come from static images from fathers, and so it's from the feeling the children they have to be with their parents. The brain is a social organ, and the brain searches from the very first time outside the utero. It's for interaction. So the main question here is, after children search for, after they leave the uterus, is for interaction. So the way parents behave upon their children has a fundamental influence in our children and adolescents' potentialities. So I would like to bring you 4 topics. So 4 attitudes that parents must have to stimulate children and adolescents' potential. First thing, get aligned. And I would like to look to you in the eyes, and I would like you to ask you that you are truly searching as a person to recover your identity. Well, because all of us, we have pains in our lives. We do not need to become our pain. We can give a new meaning to our pains. We can break cycles that we receive from our parents, our grandparents, and sometimes we told before having our children that we would not repeat those patterns, and we end repeating these negative patterns because we do not stop to look inside us to get realigned, to search for our identity. And I ask you, how can a parent, an unquiet parent, can calm down a child? How can a stressed parent can tell their children not to scream? Well, the first step is parents that must be taken from the parents to be a safe harbor to their children, to be the basis where they can find self-regulation. So to be for their children in a short future, in the short term, a safe harbor. So the moment you are a safe harbor, you can be a launch platform, and that's what the children need. They need to feel confident in their parents. So the mature being in that relation. And many times parents, they are demanding maturity from their children or from adolescents that they themselves are not that mature. So I ask you, how much you, parent, is investing at yourself. So it's impossible to develop your children's and adolescents' potential if you're not okay with your self-esteem, with your self-image, if you're not healed from your emotional fractures. First thing, get aligned with yourself. The second point, refuse to feel fear. So the fear paralyzes us. Fear hinders us to see truly who our kids are. So fear, every parent that get based on fear, so they tell, I am afraid my children to walk with people, not desirable people. I'm afraid my children get involved with drugs. So they focus on fear, and this fear will create a new trend of an authoritarian parent. So discussion, impositions, imperative and unquestionable orders. And this, mostly in the teenager phase, adolescence, it fractures our kids. So the fear hinders and blinds you to see the true essence of your children. So fear hinders you to connect to your kids. And before any instruction, before any dialogue you must have with your children. So first of all, you must connect to your children with your heart. So, and fear hinders this heart connection. So the second point is to refuse to feel, to refuse the fear. And then third point, refuse pity. Your kid is not a victim. Your children do not deserve your pity. They deserve your love. So you can't look at your children and at your look at to your husband and, oh, I married you out of pity. So, but actually you tell, I married with you out of love because I love you. And so why to treat your children with pity? Why to look at them as victims? So when you do this, you'll be an allowing parent, because when you feel pity for your kids, you will not punish them for their mistakes. You will not adjust their bad behavior. So you will be condescendent, and it's not love, that's not affection. When you do like this, you treat children as incapable to be the protagonist. So they feel useless, and they learn this from the very early childhood. In each stage of development of your children, you need to deal with their mistakes, making them to understand that there are consequences for their mistakes. When you treat them like victims, so you start to be condescendent, and when you feel pity for them, you do not correct the bad behaviors. You prefer to be your children's friend than to have the position of parent, the difficult position of parent. Many times you'll need to give your children instructions that will make them not satisfied with you, but when you think about the future, when you think about the future character, you won't stop your corrections because of a sad face. In that moment, you don't need to be loved. You need your children to understand that you are the responsible to form them as a good adolescents, a good young people that will be enter the adult life. How? Feeling like a victim, feeling that everybody must feel sorry for them because they were not solidified. They were not. They did it because they didn't have a solid childhood. So make your children capable always in each stage. You may strengthen their capacity beliefs in order to they enter the adult life in a healthy way. So we have studies that show that authoritarian and allowing behaviors, we increase the possibilities to have aggressive or very shy children, low self-esteem and low performance at school, a trend to use drugs and alcohol, and low capacity of self-regulation. So I'm sure you that you parent listening to me, so you don't want your kids like that. You generated kids to have a strong and blessed descendants on earth. And now I'll tell you about your fourth step. So what you need to do to develop the performance of your children and adolescents. So behave in love. The love will conduct your acts with balance. So with love you have limits, with affection and with strong limits. So love leaves a clear understanding about rules and awards. So you need to live your principles and values that you cannot, that are bases, and values are those who motivates, those which motivates you to live truly the principles. Love generates an environment of safety and creativity. Love creates opportunities to you to create with your kids positive memories. So love corrects and keeps loving. When you correct your children, and the other day you'll feed them, or so it's not about giving them 3 days punishment. So because love, you correct and you feel you keep loving. So love is able to listen to with attention, listening to the other without the next answer in your mouth. So to listen with your heart without a cell phone between you. So love allows dialogue, allows that your child expresses through your adolescent to express through you, because that's what your children want. They want their place in this world, and they need to tell what they think. And if they're not listened at home, they will be listened on the streets. They will find people who listen to them, and that's where the risks of adolescence happen. So you're a mother, a father, when you base your behavior in love, you listen to your kids, you listen to your children. Love, observe each stage of your children's development. And during the childhood, they needed specific things, but in the adolescence, they will need other things. And in this moment, love is humble. Love searches for knowledge, acknowledges a parent that lives through love. They acknowledge in that moment they do not have the proper knowledge about adolescence, and they will search for the tools. They know that the tools from the childhood are not working anymore, and this parent will search for more knowledge, search for information, because these parents, they love their children. So love is a base of parents, not authoritarian, but authoritative. So balanced parents, so relational parents. So these are the 4 steps. So the true love throws away every fear. So the true love throws away the pity. So to live love in your behavior, so you parents, in your actions, in your daily practice, is to look at your kids with faith, hope, with future perspectives, looking forward, knowing that you are building in your kids the basis to grow strongly and healthy, ready to be inserted in the adult life. Your kids, they need healthy parents. They need healthy environments to develop their potentialities. You know why? Because the basis of cognition is emotion. Emotion is the basis for cognition, a healthy environment. So if you want to see your kids developing their potentialities, so offer them a rich environment with peace, safety, security, creativity, harmony. And in order to this environment to be enriched with love, you, parent, you, mother and father, you need to be a rich environment, a full of love environment. You can't give what you don't have. The environment of your house, of your home, will reflect what you have inside, what you have to offer. So get aligned. Refuse all fear. Refuse pity. Live through love and enjoy with enjoy your strong, healthy, happy, and truly world citizens, children. I believe that we can create strong and happy children. So when my heart, my parent heart, when it connects to our children's hearts, so it's a binomial connection. So from the more mature to the less mature, from the bigger to the smaller. So may you, parent, be this link through God and your kid. May you, parent, be this safe harbor to be, in the short term, this launch platform. So dear colleagues, dear Dr. Graça, my gratitude, my honor to be able to share with you something that flows through my heart, that it's been in my life, my mission, to talk to parents, talk to adolescents, parents, how important it is to be connected with them. My gratitude to all of you. Thank you, dear, for your nice and loving words. It touches us. I'm sure we will think, may I be, even more loving. So thank you. God bless you. Now we call in Dr. Ana Paula Alves Lázaro, as our next speaker. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me? Yes. Good evening, Ana. So it's an immense joy to be here with you, my dearest Dr. Graça, my friend Mauro. I'm very happy and honored to once more participate in an event of IASEIE. In 2019, I've been invited by Dr. Graça to participate in the third symposium where I launched the Hope and Justice movement. It's a movement that brings awareness to prevent and to fight against the human trafficking. Unfortunately, I will talk a little bit about this theme because, and when I say unfortunately, I would like to talk about other theme. I would like to, human trafficking did not exist, but it's something that we have from the very beginning, and nowadays we treat human trafficking as a modern slavery practice. It's one of the problems, issues that most fear the human dignity. It's and people talk, well, does it exist, human trafficking? Yes, unfortunately it exists. And I live in Orlando with my dear Brazilian fellows, and it's the third city in United States with more human trafficking report. So it's a very unpleasant data. Well, I know, my challenge nowadays is to talk about human trafficking in 10 minutes. That's my today's challenge. But I'll talk about more this broadened theme, human trafficking. We have lots of approaches, but I will focus on the approach for children. So how we need to take care to children, to trafficked children. We have an unprecedented moment in history. So the balance, the order, the customs have been subverted in this last 3 or 4 decades. The principle, the destruction. So Beatriz Teixeira talked about importance of the elementary principles and values. These values inversion made the families to, family is the basis of the society, is the most important cell that God established upon earth. And family, it's been a target. It's been attacked spiritually. It's been attacked ideologically. And family is in a very extreme vulnerability in our children as well. So we have many reports about human trafficking, about including in Orlando, because of this huge growth in human trafficking. We have more than 40 million people. So the human trafficking is the second most profitable business on the planet. It's something that it may be debated and amongst our professional, our influencers, because we need to search for solutions to minimize, to mitigate this criminal actions impact. So I usually say that human trafficking, it's a crime happening in the shadows, in our lack of capacity or in our denial of its existence. It acts because of our ignorance, because of our lack of information on human trafficking. And I was talking to Dr. Graça about the last year theme. We have some tips to parents to take care of their children regarding some apparently silly cares, silly good practices. It seems everybody has these practices, but we see otherwise. We see very different. We see very allowing parents, and we expose our children to things that are harmful. And then we have some tips. We need to call the attention, even if it may seem obvious, but in practice we see these gaps, these windows of opportunities that that are given to the predators when they can kidnap the innocent victims. I'll talk about women, but I will focus on the parents' care to these children. So Beatriz talked about fear. When I talk about human trafficking, well, people usually tell me that they are afraid of human trafficking. Well, but fear is a negative thing. It's not from God. It's something that paralyzes us. Dr. Rosana talked about it, Rejane as well. She showed in a slide chart with the levels of the feelings and physiology. So fear is an energy that may not be cultivated. It's a negative energy that we need to face. When Beatriz talked about to refuse fear in the education, the mothers usually tell, I'm afraid, but how can I deal with my fear? It's important to depart from this, that fear must be refused, must be separated and eliminated from our lives. And we must say yes to knowledge and to know how is the MO of these traffickers. And that's my work in the Hope and Justice, so the awareness, to teach about these predators' practices in order to people to be aware, so to put light upon this plague that harms our society. So basic things that do not let your kids go to a bathroom alone in public environments. As obvious it may be, there are lots of parents doing this. Recently we've had a kid raped in the McDonald's bathroom because parents let her go alone to the bathroom at Orlando, an international drive. So your kids must be at your side always. I saw plenty of Brazilian people, in the outlets, in the malls, letting their kids playing with the silly games, and they go shopping. So it should be obvious, to have your kids at your side 100% of the time, but it doesn't happen in practice. That's why we have this absurd number. So in huge crowds, it's important to have the parents to create an emergency plan with your kids, not to not to let them afraid, but to give them knowledge. Obviously, each age deserves proper jargon, and the parents must develop a proper language. Well, I listened from others. Well, I can't say. I don't know what and how to say to my kids, but we have professional help available, okay? Psychologists, coaches. It's important to your kids to be aware of these predators and to be able to protect themselves. So to create an emergency plan, to give some guidance. So it seems obvious, but in most families this is not done. We have a case, a daughter from a Brazilian family. She got lost in the middle of the park, and they found a couple found this kid, and they cut the hair of this kid, they changed the clothes, and they got caught, the very last moment. So these things happens, and kids must be able to defend themselves. It seems obvious again, but people do not get their kids aware. So if you have a cell phone, for example, in the trainings I performed, Priscilla participated in some training of us. We inform about some apps that may improve the protection, the security of these kids. So to teach your kids to scream, to teach them to be brave, to be courageous, you need to boost this spirit of self-knowledge, of courage. So if you're approached by a stranger, you must act like that, you must scream, you must run. Again, it may seem obvious, but families do not teach. So please do not ask strangers to take care of your kids. Well, so families, they ask strangers, to look at their kids for a second. Yes, but you just need predators. They just need a second to act. And teach your kids about their self space, their their intimate space. If someone tries to invade this intimate space, they must ask for help immediately. So another thing I see, the people are sometimes they are suspicious about some approach, they're suspicious about some assault, and they are afraid to report to the police. But it's not like that. We must follow our instincts when we see an adult with some interactions, strange interactions with other kids that are not their kids. It's better to report, better to be safe than sorry. And so do not let your kids alone with their mates. Sometimes parents that let their kids to go to sleep in their mates' houses. I have lots of reports where children, they have been abused by friends, by parents' friends, by friends of the friends to the parents' friends. So actually, the specialists in safety and security, they always say the predators, they search for that more easy prey. They have the talent to observe the most vulnerable prey. Some women, for example, with lots of kids in the supermarket. We have in the cases, for example, in an international drive, in a cinema, in a theater, almost kidnapped in front of the parents. So we have cases and cases, and when we insist on these points, people reply, oh, that's obvious. But again, it's not obvious. And well, for the sake of time, okay, because we have 20 minutes to finish the seminar, I would like to ask you to enter in our website, www.hopeandjusticefoundation.org, to know better about our work, to know better about these triggers, these alerts. We work with survivors from human trafficking. We provide the after rescue care. We have a network of professionals supporting and treating these victims. Also, domestic violence victims, what Rejane told us, it's very important. We have a group here similar to GAMU, GANVI, a group of support to victims of violence. Well, know better about our projects in our website and in our social networks. May God bless you. Thank you all. Yes, thank you. You have 90 minutes, for the end. And let me call in Priscila Oliveira, Master Coach. She got, we need to accelerate because we have 19 minutes, okay? To 4 speakers. There is some interference, some humming. Priscila, so if you do not achieve, so we'll have other lectures in other groups and you'll present other day, okay? It's better like that. Do you agree? Yes, we have a strange humming. So thank you for your comprehension. Thank you for your understanding, better saying. So let's call in Dr. Jose Oliveira, our neuropsychologist, writer. Dr. Jose Oliveira, can you hear me? Yes, yes. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. So huge emotion. Well, since my lecture is about anxiety, well, how's your anxiety from 0 to 10 after this great number of info? Well, Regina talked about fear, Beatriz talked about fear, and then she refreshed us with her love, but Lillian also talked about fear, with a lot of information Anna has in this beautiful work of hers. Well, a lot of things we're living, and it's almost impossible not to be anxious. It's difficult to run away from anxiety. So if you noticed, well, I would like to thank Dr. Graça again, invited me to be here with you. It's a pleasure. And to participate with this great experience of beautiful human beings, full of knowledge. Well, since our time is very short and we can't use 10 minutes, well, now we have 8 minutes instead of 10. Now I would like to ask you to look inside you in this very moment. And try to observe anxiety. My theme is, what is the relationship between anxiety and focus? I won't share my screen because I won't have time to do it, But looking for these situations we're living today, looking to how Regina brought us 48% of the psychological aggression among women, a lot of things happening, so generates a great amount of anxiety. So we need to decide to take a decision every day not to let this level of anxiety to transform us in parents that focus more in pain and forgetting to look inside, to take care of us, to get aligned, and then to observe the emotions and behaviors from the people we live with No, not only with our kids, but our grandparents. In my experience, in 20 years working with human development, I'm a psychologist, I'm a coach, I run a human development center, and we acknowledge how many families, fractured families, due to the fact they are focusing mostly on pain, because we are boosted by two forces, pain and pleasure, right? When we focus on pain, we will be human beings full of anxiety, shame, unhappiness, will feel incapable, will be not happy with life, will be frustrated. All these emotions make part of us, but they cannot be with us for a long period of time. I have a practice with my clients that I give them 10 minutes to allow themselves to write and to think about their pains, and let them in those 10 minutes to be bombed about these thoughts generating anxiety, because we know how much we are harmed in our thoughts when we focus on information, because most information, they bring anxiety. So for example, to follow up Anna's work lets us anxious because of these children trafficked and kidnapped. But how to balance all of this? I've created a course that is called Equilibrium. It's about to create this link between family, professional, and personal life in order to be able to survive these challenges in our life. So we need to use the techniques we know better. There are the bases, as Beatrice told us, as Regina told us, as each one of us acknowledge, but we do not apply upon our lives. That's where our mistakes are. We don't have, if we don't walk the talk, so we cannot point the fingers. You cannot take care of the others if we do not look to ourselves and take care of us. Firstly, and when we create this connection with God, and then we have emotional intelligence and all these tools and researchers we have available to use for our benefit. So what I would like to tell you, I would like to ask you to breathe with me. Let's breathe together through your diaphragm, not through your chest. So bring your intake to your belly and count from 1 to 4 and release the air. Once more. And now identify where your anxiety is. What is the level of anxiety you have on you? Identify where the anxiety is in your body. So breathe and let this anxiety out. So identify this emotion and what this emotion causes on you. So have a deep breath, another one, and let this emotion out. And now breathe deeply with all your physiology and acknowledge your back, your back, your spine in your chair. So feel your body in your chair and take a deep breath and let the air out. And now we need to learn how to be in the present, even with all this information, all the conflict, we need to focus in our well-being, focus in our present, and to focus on people around us. Is that true? I feel that many of you would like to keep breathing, but we don't have time for this. But I would like, I'd have other things to talk, but we don't have time. But takeaway message, we need to map on each moment of our life where we are and what we need to do to help us, to bring us to the present moment, performing mindfulness, meditation, feeling feeling that you're walking, that you're having a meal, passing the well-being to people around you, focusing on the good things. Not doesn't mean you are a part of the reality, but if you have a minute to take care of you, use this minute, and each day more, you will take care more and more. So I won't take longer. I would like to thank you, and have a good night. Well, thank you, Dr. Josie. All this material we will have in a booklet, in a video. Well, we need to pass to the last lecture with Dr. Silvio Dalla Valle, and then we'll have the video, because we only have 10 minutes to the end to have Dr. Silvio and Rosalba Cruz with her video. First, Dr. Silvio, please. He's muted. Now it's okay. Okay. So my level of anxiety is 10 out of 10. Despite the jet lag, not despite the different time, right, in Italy? Yes. Well, I would like to start thanking the opportunity, and I would like to finish appreciating all the participants of this Congress. And I would like to share with you all a key concept, maybe 2 or 3 key concepts that I believe are very important to our cause victory. So I share this key concept in 4 points. The first one, so any association or movement that is willing to win, in the first place, this movement must build a list of members and associates that support the project. As an example, I have the Association for Defense of Life. So the first obligation of this association is to build a member list, advocacy list, as bigger as possible, a list of people that share the fight of the core fight of the association, but it is not enough. So once you have this list, you need to educate these members. Educate in the sense to give training. Let's keep up with our example of an association that defends life. We have lots of people that they have an opinion about why life must be defended, but they do not have doctrine. They do not have a fundamental basis, for example, to defend, to argue with people that say that abortion is possible. So we need to give these people information, so concepts, literature, through seminars, congresses, and others. Now the third point, the mobilization. Not enough to have members, not enough to have educated members, trained members. It's important to these members that may be many, that they act, they advocate, and do lobby, always compliant with the law and in a peaceful way, but in a very strong fashion. And the fourth point, it's important to build a solid financial basis to have a successful movement. It's important to all the members to collaborate financially. Naturally, obviously, each member will collaborate according to their own means. So if you defend a good cause, you must collaborate with the cause. The opposite is nonsense. I would not say hypocrisy, but it's not coherent. Each member knows how much to collaborate. So if God blessed those who are more blessed by God, they must collaborate even more. If I am more successful in my endeavors, I must give back to society a share of what I've earned. It means to invest in the future generations. Even those with few amount of resources, they can collaborate. so the gospel says the widower capacity to provide. So, and, I would like to tease you before I finish. Is that true that we are conservative? We have deep in our minds why we defend the good cause. Why are we convinced to be correct? Why do we think we have a pure heart? Well, because of all of this, we will win. I am good, or I think that I am good, thus I will win necessarily. Is that true? Well, the history proves us that is not true. If our cause will win, it's not because we are good or we think that we are good or because of our pure heart, but we will win due to another reason. And well, I'm talking about the natural point of view. Without the help of God, we will only win if we are capable to mobilize those who think like us, those silent people that prefers to be at home. In the past, we conservatives, we lost lots of battles because of lack of mobilization. In many countries, abortion was legalized because of lack of mobilization and other acts. Our children and adolescents, they've been indoctrinated at school because of lack of mobilization by parents. So, till when we'll face this reality? Well, and now I finish. I sent my Dr. Graça this small lecture that it's more important, the last paragraph. If it was an in-person lecture, I would ask a round of applause to Dr. Graça, our president. She not only gives her time, her intelligence, her energy, her enthusiasm, but he put part of her assets for her cause. She's very coherent and exemplar coherence. And now I send a great hug to Mauro, that is right and the left arm of Dr. Graça. And so thank you for your attention. And good night, Silvio. God bless you. God bless you in Italy. So now, we have a video. We are sorry about the lack of time. Maybe it's not 10 minutes video. If they cut, I don't know if they cut the transmission. But well, I thank you all, the audience, people that will listen the other day, that understand our mission is love. Let's put the video and then it will finish. But we'll have a booklet in our website and we'll send everyone. So good night. May God bless you. Now the video. Hello, be very welcome to this 5th International Congress of the International Association of Science, Ethics and Integrated Education. I'm very happy for this kind invitation from Dr. Graça to be here with you. And I am Rosalba Ruiz. I'm studied manager. I'm a specialist in human resource and coach for life, career, and endeavors. So in the last 25 years, I've been studying and applying the coaching principles that have to do with entrepreneurship and development of talent within people and organizations, and most of all, the fundamental basis of society, that is family. And this lecture, this conference, will talk about the integrated style of developing the talents of the families. So talents are natural. Some talents are natural, born with people, and people keep development because they were born with those talents, as a dancer, for example, soccer player, a singer, a tennis. They have born skills, you know. But skills we also develop. Those one you don't have by since you were born. You can develop skills and capabilities, and to develop the skills in your children, there are some keys. I will give you the proper steps and the three aspects important. So the first one is the connection. To be connected to other people, you need to establish a trust relationship, a permanent one. You need to keep a trust relationship where people feel safe and secure to express themselves and to discover themselves. You as a parent, you must discover your kids from this connection. So which are the skills they want to develop? So which skills they are naturally talented with? Because lots of talents are wasted because there are no one to identify them and to support this kid to develop it. So the first thing, important thing to development is the skills and talent is the connection. To connection through love, that is this second one. The commitment to talk and to listen to the children to know each other better. So the first one, connection. The second one, heart. And the third thing is important to celebrate each talent identification, each achievement, as small or either big, either small, and even to analyze the mistakes. And you need to celebrate and to stimulate the mistakes, but not giving a round of applause, but telling them, I am here with you. You are allowed to make mistakes. And then with connection and love, celebrating the overcoming and to serve as a stage, you know, to have the children feeling safe and secure with you. So serving as a safe harbor, you know, in order they can keep growing. So and entrepreneurship, what is that? It's the will we have to do something with strongly wishing. And how to be entrepreneurial parents? Well, we can develop, we can identify much better the abilities and the talents in our children, because since we discover these talents in the early childhood, we will contribute to these children to have more self-knowledge and to develop better their talents, and then they will feel more secure to express themselves, to search for their talents. So follow them up. And the role of a parent, this entrepreneurial role of a parent, it's your role is to be the basis, the booster. It's like a rocket, likes to be NASA for a rocket. So this rocket is your son, and then you will be the booster in order they to develop their talents. So how to identify these abilities? So imagine a box with lots of things. We have pencils, we have paint, we have gifts, toys in this box. So which are these toys that God gave you and your children that you may discover? So there are two important elements, and there are 7 elements to identify the talents of your kids. So connect to your kids' world through love, and then observe what they're doing, how they're doing, where they find pleasure, so what is natural and what is what they want to develop. So try to find out, try to let them discover, and guiding them. So you are the booster, and also you help them to canalize with ethics and principles, because there is limits are needed. This world will be much better when we parents understand that. So I give incentives, but I establish limits, and then principle and values to our families. So principles, values, and these can contribute much more for a better society and to the common well-being. So to develop the talents to your kids, so connection, and then to observe what they're doing and how they're doing, listen to them, committed with what they say, do not interrupt them, listen to them to know them better, and then to support. So without judgment and without bias, and then you can let them build and you follow them up. So ask them, and from this point of view you can understand better, and you can acknowledge better who is your kid and who are you, what you can improve as a parent. And also through games, the 5th, so connection, observation, to ask and to answer, and then do it in a ludic way. It's important children to have to learn through games or gamification. So, and last but not least, if you don't know anything, if you need to ask for forgiveness, you say that you're not perfect. So when you make a mistake, tell your kids you made a mistake, because it's important to acknowledge our humanity. So to be, you need to be brave to show your vulnerability. So if you make mistakes, if you fail, if you don't know, please, it's important to be brave and to demonstrate some vulnerabilities. And well, finally, adaptation to a new way of thinking, a new way of learning, because the world has changed. So we need to be flexible, we need to adapt. And then we have some circumstances, we have mindsets. And when was the last time that you listened to your kid with the commitment to understand their worlds? What was the last time? So, for example, have you played a game with your kid? You know which games they are playing and on the internet or in their cell phones. Well, no. Try to connect with their world, so it will allow you to develop and to discover and to help to develop the early talents within your children. So to connect with them, it's this is 2 parts of one heart. So to connect with your hearts, to create a circle of well-being within your family, to discover, to find out the talents, and to support them to be excellent and to achieve their maximum potential to contribute to a better world with ethics, principle, and with an integrated education adapted to the nowadays times. So love, connection, and celebrate life with love with your children. So I'm Rosario Ruiz. I'm happy to be here, and thank you very much for this space to the International Association of Science, Ethics, and Integrated Education. And thank you all, and have a good night. And I'm happy to share this information with you, and ask yourselves, what am I doing to develop the talents within my children? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rosalba Ruiz. Thank you for your message, for your words. And we've had, God blessed us, because we've had 10 minutes more, beyond 10 p.m. I would like to thank you all. This is only a sample. Our Congress, normally we have 3 days Congress. In Arlington, we've spent a week, right? Silvio Dalla Valle, dear, yes, he was there in a week together with the Leadership International Institute, and in other countries, in Bolivia and Santa Cruz de la Sierra, 2014, the 4th Congress, almost 4,000 in-person participants, in-person Congress, 3 days. This is just a sample. We are changing the focus of the website. Please try to follow up and to send us messages. So it's important, as Dr. Dalla Valle said, to have more members, to have some support, because in each event we have some support from somebody. People help voluntarily. People are here with their presences, with their efforts. Fabrices, for example, gave us all the infrastructure, but we always have other things like simultaneous translation, and we have a studio. We have discounts, but we have costs. Every event has costs, but now it's time to say gratitude, gratitude, gratitude to God and other world, that love and God. We feel that to be here, we need to have these full of love heart, and we are all grateful, and we all focus in the family construction, and after family is when we need, if I'm okay, my family is okay, my surroundings are okay, and the humanity is okay. So may God bless you all. See you the next event. Good night, good night. May God bless you.